So far we've created array objects by calling the NumPy module's array function and passing it a sequence of values, either a list comprehension or a predefined list object, in each case in the preceding videos so far. Now, sometimes you'll want to create NumPy arrays that have specific values in them, and they provide some convenience functions to help you do that. So for example, I can go ahead and say use the NumPy zeros function to create an array of 5 zeros. And if I press enter, you can see it creates an array object, and by default it gives me floating point numbers for the value 0. So 0 dot indicates that that's a floating point representation of the number 0. Now there's also the capability to fill an array with ones, and for each of these different functions there's also the ability to specify a keyword argument that indicates what data type the values should be. So in this case up above we got floating point values by default, but as we demonstrate the ones function, let's show you how to specify a data type as well. So let's say we wanted, instead of a one-dimensional array of 5 elements, a two-dimensional array with 2 rows and 4 columns. For that we can go ahead and supply a tuple as the first argument. That specifies 2 rows and 4 columns, and again, we're filling this array with ones, but let's say we want the data type to be integers instead of floating point numbers. In that case, we can say dtype equals int, and now it knows that we want integer values, and you can see we get all ones as whole numbers without the decimal point following each of the different items in this case. And of course, sometimes you don't want zeros and sometimes you don't want ones, but rather just some value that you choose. So there's also a function called full, and let's say this time we want a 3 by 5 array object. And if we give it a value, in this case the type of the elements is going to be the type of whatever value you give it. So I'm going to get 13 as the result here, or as the element value here, and because 13 is an integer, I get all 13s throughout the 3 by 5 array and in integer representation.